All right, all right. Happy holidays to everyone out there looking and listening. Obviously, you have reached a different echelon podcast. Very excited about today's episode. I just can't tell you this gentleman has. We haven't known each other that long, but since we've known each other, he's become a very good friend of mine. Wanted to do something a little different today. As a lot of you know, I'm also a musician, a keyboard player, and whatnot. And I feel like nothing makes the holiday season like good music. And as an African American man, we love some good music. So I have the man here who can definitely get it done. Let's give a hand clap for Mr. Charles Miller Jr.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
man.
give you one of these right here
Yeah,
because
brother.
we're still in pandemic season.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good, good, good. So, Charles, we're actually, and I'm going to plug the location. We're on location today. We're actually at the Fox Music House in North Charleston, South Carolina,
Yep.
right down the street from the crib. But, Charles, you've been around Charleston your whole life, essentially, from
Yeah,
what I
man.
understand. You have your roots are here.
Yep.
And so just give a little synopsis about yourself. Kind of introduce yourself to the fans and the audience and the supporters here with us. Yeah, tell us
Thank you,
about
man.
yourself, man.
Thank you. For those who don't know who I am, Charles Miller Jr. I am the head of artist relations and marketing here at Fox Music House. I wear a whole lot of other hats as well.
Right.
But that's what I do here at Fox. We're a fourth generation owned musical instrument retailer. And now we just opened within the last year another location in Columbia.
Oh, okay.
So all is well, man. We're doing a lot of great things in the community.
Right.
Our biggest motto is to bring the joy of music to others.
Yeah.
And and we've been doing it for that all of my life. And,
Right.
My dad's life, and
Right.
and so many folks have countless stories about Fox Music House. And
Right.
the first instrument they got there, or something
Yeah.
that they experienced when they were there. So for me, it was a big lifelong dream to be working here in some place where I first started taking lessons.
Yeah.
Started when I was 5 years old.
Right.
My mom started me. My mom was one of the organists at our church, Trinity Amy Church in downtown Charleston. And so music was my life, from the day I was born.
Right.
So I had no choice. When I used to go, my grandfather was our pastor, and so when I would go to their house, I couldn't even go outside and play until I could play some hymns. My grandmother pulled out the hymn book. It's like, all right, come on, play the hymn for me. And I'm like, oh man, but it was cool. It was great training because music was such an integral part of everything I did in my life.
Right.
And was classically trained for many years, and then I picked up the cello by chance. Did real good with that. Studied a couple years collegiately on the cello. Picked up a couple other instruments as well along the way. But piano's always been my first love.
Right.
Always been the thing I always go back to.
Right. That's good. You said a mouthful, and thanks for that great introduction. But it's funny because I'm an organist as well, and I don't have the AME background like yourself. And I'm right now. I've actually been with an AME church now for the last 5 years, and I did a stint some years before that. But for those of you who don't know about AME and Baptist, they will hem you to death. You must. You must know your hymns, and you must know your doxologies and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So that's a must. But it's so good that you had that, and I have to say, it's good to see a lot of African Americans getting into those arts early.
Absolutely.
Because it provides a way for you through your entire life. And I always tell people, I actually picked up the organ. I would think I was 19 years old when I started.
Okay.
And I'm late. I did play a little band, clarinet in school. But I'm organist, keyboard wise, I'm definitely late. So for you to start around 5 was a great blessing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And that was just piano. My church didn't have a Hammond organ when I was growing up.
Right.
I had a pipe organ.
Wow.
So that's
Even
the
more
organ. Yeah,
complicated.
so I learned sacred organ before I was even playing Hammond organ.
Right.
You know, my church didn't get a Hammond organ, I think, until I was 19
Yeah.
years old. I played other places, playing at my uncle's church and different other places like that. But I didn't primarily have a Hammond organ like, you know, a lot of other folks had. So piano was like the first thing, and I dug in on that to make sure, you know, I had that above all else.
Right. That's good, man. And for those of you who don't know, you know, we are the music house. If you can kind of like explain the difference between a Hammond organ and what you call a sail pipe organ.
Pipe organ. Yeah. So I mean, you know, one of the biggest things, you know, with the pipe organs, obviously, pipe organs have been around for centuries.
Right.
You know, initially with pipe organs, most of them traditionally, they were constructed of pipes that pretty much consisted of, you know, air being blown through the pipes and pipes being fitted of different sizes in order to create different sounds, different tones. Now, a lot of places you still have a lot of traditional pipe organs.
Right.
You know, we specialize in Allen organs, which are digital pipe organs, which pretty much involves speaker arrays and really kind of crafting the perfect pipe organ sound through the means of, you know, 21st century technology.
Right.
So it's it really kind of blows the mind, really kind of breaking all of that down, and kind of the differences between that and Hammond organ. You know, Hammond organs, you know, initially a Hammond organ was created just by accident. Lawrence Hammonds created the Hammond organ. He was a watchmaker, and by making a watch for a display that he was making for the World's Fair that year, he actually stumbled upon the first tone wheel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So in a Hammond organ, there are 96 tone wheels in there, generated with a motor on each end, and pretty much current is sent through from one end to the other, pretty much generating the tone wheels and the different kind of sounds that you get from Hammond organs. Right.
That's good. Yeah, you seem to be like an encyclopedia, glossary of information about these organs, but that's very, very good. So you started off as a youngster in the church, and you play, you know, pipe organ and moved to Hammond organ. And you know, once again, we were talking kind of like off camera. You started at your grandmother's church, right? Yeah, downtown Charleston. You want to shout out that church?
Yeah, Great Trinity Amy Church. My pastor is Reverend Jerome Wilson. That was church all my life. My grandfather was my pastor.
Right.
For half of my life.
Right.
Growing up, so it was great. It was great.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I was also a person that kind of started in the church, and my church is what they call Apostolic Church in Somerville, and that's the only church as a professional musician that I won't charge because I feel like they tolerated me when I sounded terrible, so I kind of owe it to them. So shout out to my mother, Refuge Bible Way Church in Somerville.
Yeah,
that's what got my start. But just moving along, man. As far as Christmas goes, like Christmas hymns, is it nothing that says Christmas more than the music?
Absolutely.
You know, the people going out shopping, like the whole atmosphere. I had my mom and my brother on the other day, and we talked about that. It's like, you know, any department store you go into, I mean, you've heard those songs a million times, but it kind of hits differently around Christmas time. So, you know, we were talking off camera once again about our favorite Christmas songs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to get into some of that music.
Sure.
And we'll talk about it. So what are you going to play for us first? It's your choice.
The first thing I'm going to play is My Favorite Things.
Okay, great.
That's actually my daughter's favorite Christmas song.
Okay, good.
She's got a lot of great. She's got a lot of ones that she loves.
Yeah.
She loves My Favorite Things.
Yeah. Cool.
First time she heard it, she was like, "Oh, Daddy,
right?
Do you know how to play that?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I know how to play that." And you know,
you better play it right too.
I know. I know it. So I actually, you know, did a little different arrangement. Of it. And she heard it and she was like, oh, "Okay, I like that, Daddy." She's like, "You got to record that sometime." I said, "Yeah, I will eventually. Eventually, I will." So. My favorite things.
Yeah, that was originally done. Now, was that John Coltrane?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the original artist, right?
Yeah, the original artist.
Yeah, John
My
Coltrane.
favorite things.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
What key you going to be playing in tonight?
We're going to be playing in G-flat minor.
Oh, okay, so we already in the minors.
Yeah.
This is My Favorite Things by rendition by Mr. Charles Miller. Hope you guys can see that. Let's see if we can make it happen. That was excellent. That was excellent. Wow, that was my favorite things.
Yeah.
All right, we're there. All right, sorry about that, guys. That was excellent, man.
Thank you, man.
So, first of all, you smashed that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That was
Thank
really,
you.
really good. So what I noticed is that just listening to you play, you weaved in and out of keys a lot there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of your classical
Absolutely.
influence. So just musically, like how would you attacked it at some points and then you kind of mellowed down and everything like that. The song was angry and then it was mellow and
Yeah.
then it was angry and it's mellow. In the verses you kind of got a little pre-choruses you got a little
Yep.
angry.
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
you chilled out doing the choruses, man. What does that song mean to you? Does that have a special meaning aside from it being your daughter's favorite song?
Yeah, man. My favorite things really just that obviously for those of you who have seen The Sound of Music,
Right,
that song was in The Sound of Music,
right,
and that's one of my favorite songs, and one of my favorite movies really of all time. Even doing the musical, my favorite things really just it's one of the songs that you really makes you think about what are your favorite things.
right, right,
And you can insert whatever you want in
Right.
there,
Right.
for things that are your favorite things.
Right.
And for me, it just kind of takes me back to when I was a kid and just thinking about the first time I heard that song and just thinking about, oh yeah, my favorite things.
yeah,
And you just kind of thinking about your favorite things, and you keep those kind of things on your mind.
Right.
So that's the kind of things that you just that just keeps you kind of going, keeps you always with a smile on your face, even
Right.
in the midst of the times that we're living in now.
right,
Think about those things that you really love to do, and obviously once everybody's able to kind of get back out and about, and
yeah,
think about those things that you miss doing,
Yeah.
that you'll be able to get to do again.
yeah. That's interesting, man. Because again, off camera, we were kind of talking about a local business here that was doing very well, and unfortunately, because of COVID, they had to shut down. And it does make you appreciate things. We just got finished Thanksgiving, and giving thanks, and it doesn't matter, what your religious affiliation is. You should
Yeah.
always be thankful for what you have,
Absolutely.
because clearly there's someone who's worse off than you, like the song says.
Absolutely, man.
So, in your playing, so now we didn't talk about this, but I'm just going to bring it up on the fly.
All right.
So we have a mutual acquaintance, Lee Pringle,
Yeah.
that was doing the Color of Music.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess we call them concert series
Yeah.
and everything. So shout out to Lee Pringle. I'm not sure if you're watching or listening right now. You're one of our favorite people.
Absolutely.
Speaking of
Absolutely.
favorite things, but you were working for him in a sense,
Yeah.
with certain things like that. How was that experience for you with the Color of Music festival? I guess you should call it.
Being able to attend a couple of times, I really appreciate, and big props to Lee.
Yeah.
And he's been able to present that program in several other cities,
Right.
not just Charleston.
Right.
And I think it's very important from the vibrancy and the vitality
Yeah.
of classical music
Right.
as a whole, to really kind of shine a spotlight on a lot of the minority
Yeah.
composers and
Right.
performers. And I can identify with that
Yeah.
myself. Growing up as playing the cello.
Yeah.
It's not many African American males that you see playing the cello.
Right. Right.
So in a lot
but
of
you got teased and
yeah,
all kinds of
you know,
stuff,
you
man.
know, in a lot of respects, but it really afforded me a lot of opportunities to kind of play a lot of different music,
Right.
be exposed to a lot of different music.
Right.
My favorite composer is Handel.
Yeah.
When I was 11 years old, 10, I was 10. My mother bought me the entire Handel's Messiah,
Oh wow.
performed by the London Philharmonic Orchestra,
Mm.
on CD for Christmas for me one year. When I tell you that's still one of the best gifts anybody's ever given me,
Wow.
I literally listened to the entire Handel's Messiah, and that was my first time actually listening to it,
Right.
beginning to end. And to this day, it's a every year ritual for me. I
Right.
will listen to it from beginning to end.
Wow.
And so my appreciation for classical music and
Right.
just all music, all
Right.
genres.
Right.
So definitely, like I said, big props to Lee being able to kind of present the color of music and to give a lot of spotlight and notoriety to a lot of African American directors,
Yeah.
Conductors,
Right.
performers,
Right.
you know, the composers.
Right.
It's really for those of you when the color of music comes back
Right.
in a city near you.
Yeah. Please
When
attend.
you see it,
Yeah.
please attend and support
Right.
all of the events.
It was interesting to me. I got exposed to the Color of Music, festival. I think in its first year, and I was literally driving down I-26 going east toward Charleston, and I saw this amazing billboard, and it was called the Color of Music, obviously, and it had African American, singers and performers on it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to check it out. So I remember the first thing I ever went to was at Meminger Auditorium,
Okay.
downtown, and I just remember like the sound.
Mm.
Shout out to Meminger, but the sound of the actual musicians and singers creating that sound.
Absolutely.
It was, I could close my eyes and literally taste the music. It's a weird. I know it sounds weird, y'all, but I can like taste it. And I began to follow him, thankfully, and fortunately, I got a chance to actually meet him, and I actually worked a couple of the events, and it was kind of funny. So the next year, I was as an usher, and we're at a local church downtown, and I saw the most beautiful black woman I ever saw in my life, and I approached her to say hello, and all she could say was hello. She did not know a lick of English. She was actually French, but it was just like so odd for me to see that.
Yeah.
I just knew that she was going to sound like me because she looked like me. But again, it's a shout out because he brought people from all around the world to come to these various places. I think he was in Houston at one point, in Oakland, just to name a few
DC,
places,
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So again, Lee, if you're listening or you're watching, man, shout out to you, man.
Absolutely.
Keep doing great things, man. We really appreciate you. Us musicians, and I know there are a few out there that appreciate you as well.
Definitely.
But just moving on, like with Christmas itself, man, like as far as like, you got music,
Yep.
you got the shopping, but you also got the food.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely
saying?
food.
And nothing makes Christmas in a black household and some stuffing, some macaroni, some coffee. What's some of your favorites to eat, man, during Christmas time?
Man, for me, when I'm not doing music,
Right.
I'm cooking.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm cooking. So, cooking is a big, it's really more than a hobby.
Yeah.
Really on a hobby. It's like, another piece of
right of who you
I
are.
am.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what's your favorite things to cook, man?
Favorite things to cook? Mac and cheese is one thing. I do special mac and cheese during like the holiday season.
Okay.
I like to do a lot of mixing the proteins in.
Okay.
So at Thanksgiving time, I do a smoked turkey mac and cheese.
Okay.
And I actually add a little bit of cranberry sauce to the cheese.
Uh-oh. Hey, don't give out all your secrets, man. You got some people out there like this, right?
My little Thanksgiving mac and cheese. Christmas time,
right?
I do like a barbecue. I do like a barbecue turkey mac and cheese.
Wow.
Do some different things. And other thing, I do a lot of sweets. So obviously the sweet potato pies is my big thing.
Right.
That's what I love. Sweet potato pie. Apple cake.
Oh, right. Wow.
Cake, yeah.
I'll tell you about sweet potato pie. I have a quick story about that. I remember one year my late father was a big sweet potato pie baker. And I mentioned in the last podcast with my mom and my brother talking about how he was very serious. And he's like, hey, Darius, y'all get whatever you got to get at the kitchen now, because once I get in there and do my sweet potato pies, I don't want nobody. But anyway, I had a coworker, and she was an older woman, and I told her about my dad's sweet potato pies, and she was like, well, you got to bring me one. Well, one day on the way to work, I forgot to bring the pies.
Aye.
So I called myself going to a local supermarket and getting pumpkin pie. And I took it in there, took the label off, and tried to, masquerade it like it was my father's sweet potato pie. And let me tell you something. When I tell you she bit into that thing, and the look on her face, she was so disgusted with me. We almost came to blows over the fact that she had her mouth all set up for sweet potato pie, and I gave up pumpkin pie. So we take sweet potato pie very, very seriously, man.
Absolutely.
And but it says Christmas, man. It's all about family.
Absolutely.
It's all about that, man. But the lead into our next song that I'd like for you to play, the anthem for African Americans, Christmas time, is definitely This Christmas, by Donny Hathaway, one of the greatest musicians, writers, composers of all time.
And that song turns 50 years old this year.
Yeah, I think we posted something like that earlier, man, about that song. So we're gonna get you to play a little bit of that, man, if you don't mind.
Absolutely,
This
man.
Christmas. Now this for all the musicians. Now is that in F or?
I'm gonna do it in F.
You don't have to, man. Do whatever you want to.
Yeah, let's do it in F. For all the musicians out there. Original key.
You're right. I played it last week. I was like, yo, it's F. All right, This Christmas in F, Donny Hathaway, done by Charles Miller Jr. You guys enjoy. Excellent. That was This Christmas with the Charles Miller Jr. spin on it.
Yeah, man.
That sounds good, man. So that's one of those songs that you hear all the time and all around, actually, man, not just African American household. But I want to ask you, put you on the spot real quick.
Yeah.
As a musician, I know you played a lot of concerts.
Yeah.
A lot of services.
Yeah.
A lot of this, a lot of that. What is your most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassing
as a musician ever?
Most embarrassing moment as a musician. Most embarrassing moment was the first time I ever played in a church service.
Oh.
First time I ever played in a church service.
But you were young though.
First time. Yeah, but when you practice a song for like a whole week,
yeah,
and then you get up there and it's like, very rarely do I get nervous, but that was like one of those few times where like the sweat was like dripping off my hands.
Wow.
To actually get up there and actually perform in service. Wow. Now, mind you, I've performed in orchestras and performed all across the country.
Right.
But to actually like get up in church and like play in front of your mama, your dad,
your family,
your grandparents, all these folks that you look up to, and obviously, other kids in the church, and it's like, okay, I've been doing this like for like kind of show on the side and just kind of just tell people, I played the piano, but now you got to get up there and actually perform. And I mean, I think I was doing Hezekiah Walker's "How Much We Can Bear."
Oh man!
Whew. Crash and burn. Crash.
What happened? Tell me
Crash
what happened.
and burn. I literally drew a blank. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the song. I couldn't remember the song at all.
Wow.
Couldn't remember the song, and my hands were shaking, and it was just one of those moments you just wanted to just like go hide your head under the pillow at home and just forget all about it.
So tell me, so what did that do for you?
Man, it really caused me to actually like really get more serious about playing in church, being more used to playing in the church service, being able to kind of carry a service.
Right.
Like I said, up to that point, I'd been classically trained, but I'd never played in the church.
Right.
Ever.
And I just want to say this, you know, it's different when you play in one setting and then you have to go into an entirely different setting.
Absolutely, man.
The atmosphere is different. The people look different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They look
absolutely.
different.
Yeah.
And it's something about the whole thing. And when you know that you are, I'm not sure if you're with the band or by yourself as far as the music goes, but if you're that person that everyone's waiting for, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, in songs, I mean, the musicians bring the choir in, they bring the soloists in, whatever it may be. So, you know, and like you said, you have to practice. And that's one of the things that a lot of people they take for granted. They feel they can go up there. I'm just gonna go up there and blow it out the water. And I had a former pastor said, Darius, you have to practice how you're gonna play. That way, when you get to do it for real, it'll just be like muscle memory.
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Always.
And I mean, just always be prepared. I always tell people, you know, if you're gonna do a gig or a service or performance, whatever you want to say, you always have to be prepared and be prepared for the worst that could actually happen. You know what I'm saying? I had a friend of mine, who went to Atlanta to play a gig for his group. Had a keyboard that would allow him to transpose, and he wasn't really fluent in all his keys. And when he got to Atlanta to plug in, his plug didn't work. So he actually had to play on a regular grand piano, and it was way different. He crashed and burned.
Yeah.
So I always tell people that ask me, you know, hey, learn all the keys.
Always.
You know, even if you're stronger in some than others. At home, I have a little chart that I follow. Like on Thursday, I'm just going to do the key of G. The whole time I practice, 2 hours in the key of G or A or whatever it may be. To get fluent in that, man. So that's a great lesson. So for all you musicians out there, even singers, whatever you do as your art, you know, practice it. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that you're fluent in it. And make sure that you can do whatever you need to do so that when you perform it, you'll be very, very effective.
Yeah, I was always taught to really be intentional about doing things. And one thing my mother always instilled in me when I was younger was even if you only ever do that one thing in life one time, you need to practice for it all the time. So there's a lot of things that I practice in my practice time and my rehearsal time that I practice for that I may have only used maybe once or twice ever in a situation. But I was glad that I actually knew what to do when I got in that situation, even though it's not anything I do
routine.
And it's a routine all the time. So that's just kind of a note for all you guys out there. Even if it seems dumb and mundane, just practice it. You know, I try to have as many tools in my car as possible. Even though I may not use them. Because you just never know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, like you said, I mean, it's better to be over prepared than not prepared at all.
Absolutely.
You know, so that being said, you know, just gonna move on, man. So what do you guys here at the Fox Music House? What are you guys doing as far as with the community? Anything going on? Any you know, promotions or whatever? What you guys got going on?
So starting next week, we work with the Rockley Family Foundation, which is a nationwide foundation that actually works with schools and universities and colleges as far as really promoting those music schools in order to get better instruments in there for those schools. So we're actually holding a college sale at Charleston Southern University starting next week, Thursday through Saturday, with the Rockley Family Foundation, and really it's to help support the music school at Charleston Southern, and really for any purchases that are made there, we've got grand pianos, upright pianos, all shapes and sizes.
Oh, great.
There, and those purchases will help CSU um, get new instruments
Okay.
for the upcoming school year.
Right. Okay.
And also, there's also a uh, charitable contribution benefit back to those who
Okay.
purchase there as well.
Right.
So it's just our way to kind of help out the community
Mhm.
during this time
Right.
in the holiday season.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, Fox has been the mainstay. I remember when I first moved here, Fox was almost like the only music store in the area. You know, we have a few more now, some chains and some other mom and pop type stores, but Fox has been the mainstay. If I'm not mistaken, it was on Montague at one point, right?
So Montague previously,
Yeah.
but several other locations before
Right.
that. You know,
Right.
obviously, I started taking lessons down at one of the King Street stores.
Okay.
So this is before they actually had opened up some of the other stores. Obviously, for those of you that are old enough to remember, when they were on Pine Haven and even up on the hill
Yeah.
by Northwoods Mall
Right.
as well, and St. Andrews Boulevard,
Mhm.
and obviously they were in Columbia
Right.
back then as well too. So Fox has been around over 90 years,
Right.
and so like I said, it's a part of Charleston.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's definitely part of the furniture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And part of the furniture here in Charleston. And right now we're here off of Dorchester Road
Yeah.
in North Charleston, man. So listen, man, this has been a great conversation, man. I
Thank you,
learned
man.
so much about you. Like I
Yeah.
said, I just met this guy. This guy sold me a keyboard. He bailed me out a couple times, man. But yeah, I bought some items from him, man. Please come down and see him at Fox Music House. What's the address here?
4248 Dorchester Road.
Yeah, 4248 Dorchester Road, North Charleston, South Carolina. If you have an area or you live in the area, you need any instruments, or come on down, look for Charles Miller. He is over the pianos and organs. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, safe to say that.
Yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention, man, you guys, you're at NAMM a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So before we go, let's talk about your experience in traveling and doing what you're doing, man. How's that been for you?
It's been great. So first wearing the hat as one of the operators and representatives here at Fox. It really was a very eye-opening experience. And for all the musicians out there, singers, or just anybody with an interest in the music industry, doesn't matter what genre you play, what instrument you play, I implore you, you just got to go 1 year. If you want to go, they'll be doing it virtually next year.
Right.
But 2022, if you want to go, let me know. I'm going to tell you how you can.
I'm letting you know right now.
Hey, okay.
I'm letting you know right now. On the podcast, let me know right now.
The thing about it is expanding your horizons, and NAMM will do that for you. No matter, I mean, you don't have to be an award-winning artist or anything like that, but whatever you're doing, even if it's outreach in the community through music or whatever the case may be, all of those avenues are there, and all of those folks are there, and really you get to see other folks that are doing what you're doing in their communities.
Right.
And you really can kind of glean
and network. Yeah.
Network. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And you can't grow unless you've been exposed to something bigger than yourself.
That's it. I used this analogy the other day, man. A lot of people want to be a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
But if you're the biggest fish, you know what I'm saying, you're going to outgrow that fish tank or that pond.
Yeah.
You need to go to the next level to really, raise yourself and get better at what you're doing. So, yeah, that's good information. But I'm letting you know right now publicly that I do want to go to NAMM. And we'll talk about that once we're finished with this. But listen, I'm going to let you take us out with something. This is up to you. You can let us know what you want to play. Give us whatever you want to give us. Once again, this is Charles Miller Jr. I'm a different echelon. Please, and thank you, first of all, for supporting the podcast effort. Thank you for being a good supporter, great supporter. This has been a great ride. Thank you all. If you need to get in contact with me, get in contact with me at DarrisNolan28@gmail. Please email me. Let me know some ideas that you may have for a podcast idea. It's an open forum. I do want to hear from you. Again, if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please subscribe to my channel. Like it on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. And it's very important that you actually leave a comment. Even if you say hello, what's up, D, all of that, whatever you want to do, please leave that comment. Please say hello. That actually helps me to continue to do this. And I love you all. That's why I'm bringing this to you. Whatever I can think of to talk about and to kind of like connect with everyone. This is what I'm trying to do. So I thank you guys so much. This is Charles Miller Jr. down at Fox Music House. You can get in contact with him here. What's your email address, brother?
cmiller@foxmusichouse.com.
Yes, that's cmiller@foxmusichouse.com. You can also find him all around the city playing these beautiful melodies at various pianos in the city, various hotels and different things like that. So once again, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Love you all. You guys be safe. And we're going to let Charles take us out with something. What you got, Charles?
Have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Have yourself a Merry Christmas. Little Christmas. Let's go. Beautiful, beautiful. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in to a Different Echelon podcast, where I'm here to educate, to enrich, and to encourage. Thank you all for listening and watching. God bless you all. Stay safe.